Hi. Yesterday we talked about carving out a dating strategy. It was a little bit all over the place. I was using ChatGPT Pro to give me tips on finding a life partner, and it got kind of annoying after a while. But today I woke up and I thought some more, and I came up with 16 steps I'm going to go through maybe over the next 16 days. Maybe I'll get do it faster than that to move towards my goal of finding a life partner. Now, with the caveat that this is a process and it's totally possible that through this process I'll figure out that I just love being single or I want romance and not commitment. I don't know, but there's this voice in me that's still alive. Maybe it's my true self, maybe it's my conditioning, maybe it's a higher power that is telling me to follow this thread of wanting a husband. So I'm going to follow it. Number one, I've become more and more aware that I want to get super clear on who my ideal partner is. And this is not a list of I want him to have brown hair and great abs and be super rich. These are the qualities that are really important. And I find that when I listen to manifestations about finding your ideal partner, or I try to go through these kind of therapy and self help books, when they say, what do you want in an ideal partner? Be as specific as possible. It's really challenging for me to come up with specifics. I know some things I don't want, such as a drug addict or an alcoholic or someone mean or unkind. I know that I want someone kind. I'd love to find a partner who's playful, handsome to me, healthy, active, and it's really important that we share generous, open-minded, curious, chivalrous. These things are important to me. I guess I'm starting to have some clarity, but I think specifically around what's a partner versus what's someone to have a romance with, what are the differences? I think that if I get really clear, all the other pieces will start falling together. And these lists and things that I read online are not so helpful to me. I think that one of the reasons is because I grew up without a dad, I grew up without seeing a relationship in my life. And so it's just hard for me to come up with those characteristics. And I want it to feel more like I'm receiving those characteristics rather than I'm pushing those characteristics. I did have one long term relationship in my life with a guy I really loved, and that relationship fell apart because he was an addict. But in other ways, I think he was a really perfect partner. He was kind and intelligent. And to make a long story short, I really woke up, I think it was around New Year's Day, and wrote a list of qualities. And it was more like they just came to me rather than me pushing them. It was even dark brown hair and blue eyes. And he had those. And I put a loving father. He had a son. I wasn't necessarily looking for someone with children, although now that's much more appealing to me. Although children do tie people down to location, but in any event, I'm not going there yet. It's just that today's goal is to get super clear on who my ideal partner is. And then I think a lot of the action items will start flowing from that. Now, the second part of this is I want to get super clear on who I am as a wife. I listened to this really great podcast episode called Start to Finish How I Manifested My Husband in 3 Weeks. I didn't even know about this woman, Shelley Bullard before, and I found her guide to be super helpful. And she was just talking about who I am as a wife. So that might be something like keeping my apartment clean. I want to be a wife who is helping keep the house clean because I want a husband who's also clean. And she said even things about thinking about where our next trip is and just starting to act like a wife, thinking about what he would want for dinner and preparing that. I really loved that. So that's part two. Number three, so this is something, again, when I found my last partner that was really effective for me, I started, instead of just making a list of those qualities, I started to think about who are some amazing husbands I know. So my third step, I'm going to go to LinkedIn and Facebook, and I'm going to go through my contacts and think, who are some people who I think are really amazing husbands? I think about my cousin's husband, of course, my amazing uncle, some friends of friends. I know a friend who is married to a pediatrician in Dallas, and he's just a really amazing man. And those men who bring caring and kindness and play into their relationship. So I'm going to make a list of those men. And this list is going to serve several purposes. First of all, it's going to get me clear on kind of that model and archetype of man. And then it's also going to help me figure out more what kind of woman I want to be, because I'm going to be thinking about their wives, how they met their husbands, and then potentially even asking these people for intros, which is something that is recommended in dating books, but is very weird to do, especially if I haven't talked to these people in a while and I'm writing and saying, hey, I'm single, could you introduce me to someone? It's a little bit humiliating, but you have to start somewhere. And who knows, maybe I can be of support to them in some way. Maybe it'll even be fun for them. I knew that if I knew some great single guys and someone reached out to me, I would be really happy to make an introduction. So, okay. Now, step number 4, listening to dating books. I go on a walk in nature about 2 hours a day. There's a beautiful park in Split called the Marianne Trail. And I think I'm going to use that time to listen to dating books. I think I'm going to start with Matt Hussey's new book, Love Life. I really like his voice. I find his tips really helpful. And so, first of all, I have to get headphones though. And that's a bit of a challenge for me because I'm trying to be more ethical and sustainable. And it's really hard to find electronics that don't have cobalt in them. And children are used in mining cobalt. And so that's a problem. But I think I can find used ones. So maybe I'll just reach out to the digital nomad group and see if I can find some headphones. Also, I've been reading a little bit more about how that impacts hearing and brain health. And so I think what I read is that when you can attach your headphones to the computer, that's better. So I am on the lookout for ethical, sustainable headphones. I mean, I figure if you can attach 2 tin cans with a string and talk to your neighbor as a kid, there's probably some way to make ethical headphones. And I want to use them for my manifesting as well, because apparently it's better if you can listen with headphones. All right, so steps. So the first whole thing is just first things first. Get super clear on who my ideal partner is, get clear on who I am as a wife, make a list of amazing husbands from my social network, and listen to dating books, starting with Love Life. And I have a couple others lined up that people on the show have recommended to me. All right, so next category of 4 things is the ongoing daily life category. So first one is dress up nicely every day. I have my nice new, I think about 20 dresses from the secondhand shop. You can look at my secondhand fashion show if you haven't seen it. So I put on a little makeup today. I washed my hair. It's still a bit wet. And I have my dress and I got my nails done. My friend from yoga is an amazing nail artist. If you live in Split, I'll give you her number. I'm all waxed from head to toe. So I'm ready to go out and feel pretty and putting out the right vibe. I was supposed to go daily to the coffee shop at 10 a.m. It's already almost 11, but I'll get there. At least I dressed up nicely. Took me a little while to get going this morning. Okay, number 6. Okay, so I have this guy I met at the coffee shop who knows all the guys. He's kind of one of those mentor types he always has a bunch of handsome guys around him who are single, who are in their 30s and 40s. So I was talking to him the other day. He's in his 50s. I said, look, I want to find a boyfriend. I just put it out there to him. So I think he's starting to work his network a little bit. And so I'm going to keep showing up and telling him I'm interested in that. And I've also been telling all the people I know who work at coffee shops. There's a really fancy hotel in downtown Split, the Hotel Ambassador. There's a lot of people who sail there, and I've told all them I offered a reward if someone could find me a boyfriend. So I'll let you know if that pans out. That might be a strategy people can use in the future. So far, no luck, but we'll see. I'm thinking also I live in a city with more single guys, so easier than a place like New York. Maybe they'll be more likely to introduce me if I'm not showing up in my sweatpants every day with no makeup and my mascara running and actually look decent. So maybe that will get the ball rolling a little bit. Number 7, join martial arts classes. Okay, so I did some research yesterday about how to do activities that have more men in them. I was thinking if I was a man, I would go to yoga class because yoga has so many intelligent, beautiful, fit women who want to evolve spiritually and keep healthy. And it's just so many women. And so I'm thinking, so I asked ChatGPT, what is the male equivalent of a yoga class? So they recommended some martial arts. So, I mean, they also recommend rock climbing, and it's just not, I just don't think I'm going to be a rock climber. So, I do think I could get into jujitsu, maybe boxing. I'm also thinking maybe CrossFit. And yeah, and then that advantage is I think I'm going to try to go to them or maybe join a triathlon. Yikes. I don't love running. I'm on and off with running, but I'm going to get that way I can get stronger and more fit and also defend myself so I feel safer walking at night even though split is pretty safe, and I think just safe in my soul. I think that just doing martial arts helps you be more grounded and relaxed, and I really want to get strong and be able to do push-ups. So I think doing that at night is good. And also, just full confession, I've kind of gotten a bad habit of drinking a glass of wine every night or two. And I think I really want to cut back on alcohol because it's just not good for you. It makes me a little more anxious and depressed. And I have a history of alcoholism in my family. So I think if I can find a nice physical, social activity in the evening, that would be a great thing to do instead of drinking a glass of wine. All right. Number 8, strike up a conversation with one attractive man every day. I've done this before and it's hard to get going. I think it will be easier for me this time because I've done it before and I just turn it into kind of a funny game. I think most nice guys enjoy being approached. If they don't want to talk to you, they just won't engage. And it can be anything kind of just as weird as, hey, are you Croatian? Are you traveling here? Do you like coffee? I mean, what are some of my weirdest? Yeah, I told you once I asked this Italian guy at my gym, do you know a good pizza place? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a weird question. A nice person is going to take your question seriously or be really happy that you spoke to them. And, at the worst, you'll meet a new friend, maybe someone who's going to introduce you to their brother or their friend. I think it's also something that just makes me kind of more at ease, and then I start attracting more people. So part 2, ongoing daily life, dress up nicely every day, go to the coffee shop at the same time, work my connection with the connector. Maybe I'll find more people like this who run gyms or sailing or martial arts studios. Number 7, join martial arts classes or a triathlon, some kind of male group class to do regularly, because I read in the dating books going regularly is important, not just showing up one time, so you can kind of get to know people. So I'm going to just make a list and then start trying them, which will be fun. And 8, strike up a conversation with one attractive man every day. Yikes. Okay. Next category is network. So I told you I was going to make a list of people who I thought were attractive and good husbands. So I'm also going to make a list of people to ask for intros and ask them for intros. There's a couple different categories that people in the dating world recommend ask for intros, like asking your happily married woman friend, other people who got married when they were the same age as me, obviously great guys who you think are attractive, and for intros. And then there are some people who probably are not the best to ask for intros. So I'm going to do a little more research on the types of categories and then make a list of people to ask for intros. This sounds so nerdy, but I like to do things this way. I'm strategic. It's totally possible many of these might not work at all, but who knows what will happen in the process. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone and also do things in my comfort zone, like making spreadsheets. Okay, so part of this is next one is invite people on the podcast. So when I originally started this podcast, my idea was to invite women who found love in their 40s. And my thinking was, okay, I'm surrounded by a lot of single women. I'm surrounded by a lot of people who are kind of down on men. And I do believe you become like the people you are surrounded with. A great example of this is these top podcasters, Lex Friedman, Andrew Huberman, oh my gosh, who's the Dr. Peter Attia, Joe Rogan, Facebook. And I don't want to be posting too much about this on Facebook because in my other company, I promote a lot and I'm a little bit tired of self-promotion. And this feels like something very intimate and I want to keep it organic and not another one of these, look at me, look at what I'm doing, look at my thing. I want people who this show resonates with to start listening to and not pushing people. So I'm kind of reticent to do some big, hey, hurrah, I'm doing a dating show thing, but I do need to kind of get the word out there. So if you who are listening know any women who found a wonderful, loving relationship in their 40s, I would love you to reach out to me and recommend them for the show. You can find me at truelove.substack, the trueloveshow.substack.com. It's in the, I don't even know our own website. So the trueloveshow.substack.com, I think is what our link is. Let me just check that. It's definitely in the bio. And if you reach out to me, okay, trueloveshow.substack.com. No, if you subscribe, you can send me a message just by responding to the subscription. Of course, you can unsubscribe if you want. I just do that as a protective layer because for some reason, even the thought that a woman in her 40s wants to find marriage is super triggering to some people. And I've gotten a lot of hateful comments. And I found that that's just a little bit too much for me to stomach while I'm sharing such personal details of my life. I do want to share it personally because I want to hold myself accountable, and also to manifest powerfully, I believe it's valuable to share this information with others who can benefit. And I want everybody who has the same desire as me to find their heart's desire fulfilled. That makes me happy. And I don't know, for some reason, I always had this idea, even in my early 20s, that for me, who had really struggled with finding partnership, if I find partnership, I'll have this whole show that's watching my journey and how I evolved. And then maybe other people who are in my shoes can watch the journey and evolve similarly and find what they want. So I thought it would be really useful. But I do think there's kind of a fine line, because I can see how it would be uncomfortable for some man to date a woman who's constantly talking about wanting to find a partner. Hopefully this podcast is going to work quickly, and then I'll go back to doing other things like advocating around climate change and fixing education, or maybe just a healthy relationships. Okay, I got a little distracted there. However, so I don't want to post a lot about it, but I think I'm going to do the digital nomad women's group and ask if they know women in their 40s, and then just reach out to a couple of friends. I want to invite dating coaches, book authors, maybe eligible bachelors. I think I could also get the dating coaches to introduce me to some people. So inviting people to the podcast is a big part of this. Okay, I want to make a list of men to have on the show, eligible bachelors. This is a little bit silly. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this, but I asked ChatGPT Pro to search transcripts and come up with a list of men who'd said they are single on episodes in the last month. I guess I imagine interesting people go on podcasts. So ChatGPT Pro is not working very well. It was only able to come up with 5 names, so I'm a little annoyed. And this research project for me is a bit boring. Also, I don't know, it's kind of a weird ask. If I ask a guy to come on my show about dating, is he really going to want to end up dating me? However, maybe he'll date one of you. So that's a benefit. And also I can learn more about what men are looking for. All right, so networking is really a lot about who I'm inviting on this podcast. Make a list of people to ask for intros, invite people on the podcast, make a list of men to have on the show. So that's 9, 10, 11. So the whole next category is around events. I am going to organize an online singles event. I'm to attract the kind of man I'm looking for. I'm trying to figure out what kind of events men are interested. I don't think they want to make scented candles, maybe a wine tasting. I'm going to do something that will attract people who want to be digital nomads or are digital nomads or live in the cities I want. I was thinking maybe a cooking class could be a good one. I don't know if people just want to come to, this is for singles. I don't necessarily feel like I like singles events myself. So I don't know if the kind of man I'm looking for would want to come to that. But I think if I get clear, step number 1, the kind of man I want, I might understand what kind of event he would like to come to. Maybe we could do some woodworking. I don't know. All right, organize in-persons. Yeah, and like even I was thinking, oh, a man would like a money event or an AI event. And then I'm thinking, do I really want to date someone who works in AI and tech or business or finance? I don't know. Maybe. I'm just trying to think of some event. So I'm going to have some event. I'm also going to organize an in-persons event along those same lines. And potentially, this is kind of a big idea, but I feel like it would take a lot of work. I was thinking about maybe organizing some event to bring men to split, maybe kind of successful men who are interested in becoming a digital nomad or sailing, and we could promote it to these big companies. But I'm not really good at organizing that type of event, so I would have to find someone to work with. But, we could even have an info session for it. Maybe I'll meet some cool guys at the info session. So yeah, all right. So some type of ongoing group event. Okay, so based on what events work, I'll do something more ongoing so people can get to know each other. I was even thinking around this idea of 8 dates where we could use the event to really bring out personal things about people so that we could actually get to know each other on a deeper level. But I don't know if a man is going to want to come to that. Like that is something that a woman really loves, talking about your feelings and your emotions and your goals. And I don't know, we're going to have to tinker with it a little bit to make it attractive to men. Although sometimes if there's just hot women there, men are going to come anyway. So it's all about the marketing. I think I need to reach out to some of the men that I know and ask them what kind of event they'd like. But first of all, I think I need to get clear on the kind of man I want. So you see, everything's related. And then, oh yeah, find someone interested in putting on an event for a high value man. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to organize some tourism event. This is just so much not my skill set, but I am very good at marketing and connecting. So, all right, so events. 12, organize an online event. 13, organize in-person event. 14, some type of bring people here event. 15, some type of group. Ongoing group from the events. And 16, meet someone interested in putting in a high value event. So quickly, I'm going to go through all 16. Part 1, first things first. Get super clear on who I want. Get clear on who I am as a wife. Make a list of amazing husbands from my work. Listen to dating books on my daily walks. Part 2, ongoing. Dress up nicely. That's so fun. Work my connection with the guy who knows all the guys. Join martial arts classes. Strike up conversations with one attractive man every day. Make a list of people like Santa to ask for intros and ask them for an intro. That's a really scary one. I have to do research on what types of people to ask also. Invite people on the podcast. Make a list of men to have on the show. Organize an online singles event to attract the kind of men I'm looking for. Organize in-person singles events. Have some type of 14, potentially organize some type of bring guys to split event. 15, create some type of ongoing group. And 16, find someone interested in putting on an event. So hopefully we won't even get to 16 of this massive put on an event. That's when we're getting kind of more desperate. But anyway, I'm going to put all these feelers out there. But first things first, getting clear on my ideal partner. If you have ideas for who I should have on the show, or men that you want to introduce me to, or you would like to give me people on the show, someone you want to introduce me to, or if you have a cool idea for a singles event, especially if you kind of have a vibe on what men want. I'm trying to put myself in that mentality, especially the kind of guy I want to date. I mean, obviously, if we had a video game event, a lot of people would come, but I don't know that I want to meet someone who's obsessed with video games, but I don't know. Yeah, so if you have any ideas, you can always contact me. Just go to truelove.substack.com, subscribe, and you just can reply to that. Send me an email with your ideas. If you know me personally, just send me a text or reach out. And hey, I mean, it's a bit cheesy when someone on a podcast says to strangers, I love you, but I don't know, I feel full of love today, especially for someone who took the time to listen to this. So I love you, and I really hope you have a beautiful day. And next episode will be on getting clear on my ideal partner. Hopefully I can give you some information about what I want and my description of that person, which I think in some ways won't be able to be put into words. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. See you soon.